Why Yellowstone and its spinoffs leave such an impact on Texans' hearts. Ahead of a possible series finale, let's talk about the Duttons. As a kid, I never appreciated going out to my grandparents' home in the country. Driving from Houston to Mumford, a small community outside of College Station, always felt so far away and boring compared to the city. Now that time has passed and my grandparents are no longer with us, those visits are something I regret not appreciating. What does that have to do with the hit series Yellowstone and the massive universe it spawned? Nothing and everything. Yellowstone premiered on the Paramount Network in 2018, the creation of Academy Award nominee Taylor Sheridan, the writer of Sicario and Hell or High Water, who took on the role of showrunner. The story follows John Dutton, played by Kevin Costner, as he fights to preserve the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch of Montana, his family's massive 140-year-old property that the show says is larger than Rhode Island. The Duttons battle various villains, mainly business moguls looking for a piece of the territory, and go from combative to neighborly with Thomas Rainwater, Gil Birmingham, chief of the Broken Rock Reservation. But the squabbles between siblings Beth, Kelly Riley, Jamie, Wes Bentley, and Case Dutton Luke Grimes create the most tension. The show immediately struck a chord within me. Family dramas and sibling rivalries always intrigue me because I can see my own massive disgruntled family in the fiction. You probably can too. More than that, I could see my grandfather in Kevin Costner. A tough old son of a bitch who is going to fight tooth and nail for what his family had built. Pete Scamardo, my namesake, was the same way. No, he never had anything as big as the Yellowstone, but for all his 92 years he slowly bought farm after farm until what was once a small property became a substantial plot of land in the Brazos Valley. Was he perfect? No, but I've learned to appreciate the flaws in him and everyone like him. John Dutton was the same way, an old-school figure fighting to preserve what was being lost for the sake of progress. Yellowstone is set to hold its Season 5 finale on Sunday, December 15th, and it's possible it could end up being the series finale. In light of this, I ask myself, how did Yellowstone grow to become so popular? When it premiered in 2018, it felt like no one else was watching it. Then the COVID-19 pandemic happened, and a whole bevy of fans discovered Sheridan's creation. Whether it was a nationwide love for cowboys or the sex appeal of Cole Hauser's Rip Wheeler, something drew in audiences. I believe it's the fantasy of owning our own slice of heaven. As cities grow bigger and bigger and our natural landscapes dwindle, a large portion of us want to escape and see that bit of nature before it's gone. It's why Yellowstone National Park is a thriving attraction. It's why Montana has seen a tourism boom because of the show, and it's even why Airbnbs are so expensive out in the Colorado mountains. Yellowstone is what we all dream of having, a private kingdom to ourselves. Texans are no strangers to massive ranches. Whether it's the King Ranch, which covers most of South Texas, or the Brewster Ranch in Big Bend Country, Texas is one of the country's few remaining places where those kingdoms can still be found. If you had a place like that, wouldn't you fight tooth and nail to keep it? Now, I won't sit here and say Yellowstone is a perfect show. Frankly, the last couple seasons have been a promo tour for Sheridan's purchase of the 6666 Ranch. Granted, if I'd bought one of the most famous ranches in Texas, I'd brag about it too. But storylines get dropped, enemies are dispatched easily, and it never feels like the Duttons are in actual danger. The biggest tension came behind the scenes when Costner left the middle of Season 5 to film his Western epic Horizon. But while Costner's exit may be the end of Yellowstone, the franchise lives on. 1883, a prequel to how the Duttons arrived in Montana, was a hit, followed by 1923, the Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren-led show about the second generation of Duttons during Prohibition and the Great Depression. Elsewhere, The Madison, a sequel show with Michelle Pfeiffer, is in pre-production, while a show starring Matthew McConaughey was rumored, a show about the 6666 Ranch, and another prequel, 1944, have all been slated as in development. So, barring a collapse of Paramount's TV division, the Duttons' shadow will not fade soon. Frankly, I'm more excited to wrap up Yellowstone and look back at the prequel shows. Something about seeing where we came from carries a massive amount of weight. The one thing about Sheridan's works, from Hell or High Water to 1923, is they're authentic. Critics can debate quality, the Emmys can debate what's good or bad, but fans can watch 1883 and get a sense of life on the Oregon Trail. Fans can watch 1923 and see how quickly life changed in the 20th century. Then they can see Yellowstone and the reality we live in now. Like Maddie Builder of 26 Keys shared recently, there's a desire for stories about Middle America, and Yellowstone meets that need. So, regardless of what happens next, there's something about Sheridan's works that we all can connect with. I know I'll watch The Madison when it's out, likely you'll too. And for anyone hating on them, hate away, but you're still watching, too.